Hello, it's me.
Hello everybody, welcome in everyone. Let me turn that background music down a bit. Oof, there we go. Hello one and all, welcome in for the second Dan and Dan chat of, well, I can't remember when our last one was actually.
January.
The second one of the year. It's been wait, all of that stuff has happened in 2 months. Oh, we got lots to. Oh my gosh, 2 months, mind blowing. 2 months. The second Dan and Dan chat of the year, everybody. I'm joined by co-host Dan.
Hello. Thank you for having me, Dan.
Of course, Dan. Happy to have you, Dan.
I'm finally hitting go live on my end. It's great.
Please go check out. We do a shout out for you just as you go live.
Thank you.
Please go check out Dan over here. He'll be going live shortly. Dan, would you like to sell yourself to my viewers?
Sure. I will actually read from my Twitter bio here because it encompasses me very well. I'm a level 40 variety streamer, an indie author, a published poet, and a lover of the arts. So, yeah, play a lot of good old-fashioned vintage games and some new ones, and a lot of RPGs, love me some stories, and yeah, have a good time. So
there you go. Thank you for doing that. So if you are interested in any of that, please do go check out. Oh, my chat says sell himself. Can I buy a body part? I need femurs for reasons. No, we're not selling body parts.
I need my femurs too, thank you.
Yeah, so this is the preamble part, because you've only just gone live. Let me know when your screen switches over. But for the moment, yes, welcome in everybody. Welcome in Death. Thank you for the luck, Kicker. Much appreciated. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Yes, thank you all for being so supportive of our dear Dan the Draconian. Good boy that he is.
Hi, Kimmy.
After my praise, you cowardly fool.
I accept your praise. Thank you for the praise. And now you must accept mine in return. Dan is definitely the streamer you want to go watch if you are a fan of well, variety content, but also RPGs, comfy vibes. One of those streams you put on in the background and listen to. But when gaming, definitely like with the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth streams. And what else have you been playing that I noticed? Chained Echoes?
I haven't been playing Rebirth. I played the one before that, which is also an R word, so it's fine.
Oh, oops.
I played Remake. I just finished Remake, actually. Rebirth is the one that came out, like, last month.
Oops. But also Chained Echoes as well. I noticed you've been playing that.
Yes. Yeah, which is actually a good way to segue into the start of this. I am running an ad break on my end, at which point I will switch over, and I'm only running the ad break because I forgot as I was turning it on that that's how I have Twitch set up on my end for affiliate, and the ad break plays within the first like 10 minutes of stream because I usually have a 10-minute pre-game. So nobody on my end can hear me yet because I don't want them to miss things due to the ads. So I got about a minute and a half left on that. But yeah, I figured we'd start off by like doing our own introductions and catching up on like what we're doing because I have things written down for me, and I don't know fully like what you've been up to this month yet. So got that. And then I have, well, not this month, the last 2 months even.
Yeah.
And then I've got a big section in the middle that I'm calling the news. With,
the news.
Yeah, with a bunch of stuff on there, which I think we might have some commonalities here.
Oh, absolutely.
And then I got a section at the end for like, oh, we're going to be doing in the soon to near future. You know, what's going on? What's going on there? But because I figure we both might have a little something to talk about there.
I like these plans. I like this layout. We've learned from 2 months ago.
A little bit. I did add our earlier topic of conversation to the listing that you mentioned to me. You're like, I want to talk about this. I'm like, yeah, that's a good topic for us to talk about.
Yes. Yeah, I was, anything that came up I was sending through to Dan and was like, let's talk about this. So
all right, less than 10 seconds left, and we can start this proper, and I can switch over, and people can hear us both. Because I don't even have the mic turned on my end yet.
Oh my.
Ad break is over, so I'm gonna turn my mic on and do my little introduction. So Dan's chat, you're gonna get to hear my introduction here for a moment. So I thank you for your patience while I get this started. Hello, everybody. Before we get started, as always, I want to give a shout out to the lovely music we've been listening to during pre-stream here. This is Dreamer by Declan DP. You can find the information in the lower left-hand corner of the stream. Thank you to Declan and everybody like them who makes it they're free to use their low-cost assets for us streamers so we can have better streams. Thank you very much. But yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever it is in your part of the world. I am Deuscain, and I'm not going to beat around the bush much today. I am joined on this lovely day for a collab stream with Dan the Draconian, who is waiting in the wing with his chat, and we're going to pop over there right away and have our second Dan and Dan Just Chatting collab of the year. So...
Hello. Oh.
Now they can hear you.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello.
And welcome in, everybody.
This has been a bit of a mess getting things started. Hi, Joey.
No, it's not been a mess at all. I just started before you. It's all good. It's all good.
Oh my god.
Hi again,
Yeah.
girl. Welcome in. Which
So,
Dan are you saying hi to, by the way? Hey.
Probably.
Hey.
I mean, they're covering their bases pretty good by doing both of us.
That's true. That's very true.
But, which I think was the whole point of us doing these streams.
Yeah.
But I talked. Dan got his stream up a little bit before mine, so we had talked about like what our itinerary for the day was going to be, because we actually made one this time, unlike last time.
You made one. I just sent you random things. It was like, let's talk about this, and then you put them all together. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and you can add on to this too, of course. But to start off with, we're gonna do our introductions and catching up. So, Dan, what have you been up to for the last about 2 months since we hung out?
I can barely remember yesterday, but I'll give it a go. Within the last 2 months, I have managed to do a successful donathon for a friend, because
Congratulations.
Thank you. Their graphics laptop broke, so we managed to, as a community, pull together the money for it to get repaired, and they're back working hard on their art stuff now. We did.
I vaguely remember hearing about this too.
Yeah, it was one of the artists I work with, Sam, who does my schedule art.
Nice.
Yeah, he's really good. There'll be links in the VOD on YouTube to Sam, but there won't be on Twitch. Oh no, actually there is in my credits down below.
Nice.
That's another thing I did. I fixed all of the links in my credits section. That was something I did behind the scenes that I never actually told anyone about. Tons of new emotes have come out.
Nice. Congrats.
Thank you. Lots of new art. Revealed my human form.
I saw that. It looks very nice.
He's very sophisticated, isn't he? He looks very, very chiseled and refined compared to.
I mean, I would argue you're sophisticated as you are currently.
I am curvaceous. Let's see. Yeah, there were a few games that we managed to finish.
Nice.
But other than that, it's been a very busy 2 months. I'm just trying to see if I've written anything down that I finished. I watched a ton of Netflix games.
Yeah, Netflix is like that sometimes. Any particular show that you like really stood out to you that you liked?
Let's see. I would say Sweet Home Season 2. And then there was a K-drama or a Korean TV show called The Silent Sea that was on Netflix. Not sponsored, by the way. But yeah, I would definitely say that's one to watch.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have not had Netflix for years. I think the last time I had it was for season 1 of The Witcher. Like I didn't even sub in to watch Arcane. I still have not seen Arcane. So I have not been doing much with the TV or the streaming. I watch too much stuff on Twitch. For a long time I got into like D&D streams with people, and when a single episode is 4 hours long, that doesn't leave a lot of time for anything else. So I've had to cut out the Netflix that I was paying for and wasn't using.
Welcome in, Kimmy. Welcome in, Lemon. For my...
It is otherwise pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, so I've just been asked, human form, where is it? So, it will be...
Hello, my friend!
In, my Discord. It will be... I think...
Also, didn't you share a picture of that on your Twitter? I recall seeing it.
Did, yeah.
So you should check out twitter.com/Dan the Draconian, probably. That's your handle, right?
Yes, it is. Thank you for doing that. Didn't have to. Twitter.com/Deuscain. No, it's under announcements. In my Discord. I should move it to the lore channel instead. But yeah.
Yeah. You can put it in lore when you're ready.
Yeah, when I catch up on that.
Thank you for the follow. That's Lemon Day FC. Thank you so much.
Lemon, yeah. Lemon's jumped ship, I see. No, good.
They're being supportive. Thank you.
Please do support.
Which, actually, a fun thing here, and I don't know if you know about doing this. I actually have your chat added in OBS. It's a fun thing I can do. Because basically, if you pop out someone's chat, it opens up in a new browser window. You can grab the link at the top of that new browser window and add it into OBS as an extra doc. So I can see your chat.
You can?
Yeah, I can show you how to do it later when we're done with the stream if you want.
Yes, please.
You do a bunch of collabs. Because, yeah, I've got yours in here now, and I have another friend that I was collabing with a bunch as well. Yeah, it's a fun trick.
Oh my gosh. Let me bring...
What do you want me to show you now?
No, let me bring up your stream.
Thank you, Lemon. I don't have it on screen. It's just showing an OBS to me.
No. But I realized I didn't actually open your stream so I could see chat and answer any questions.
Do you also want... Speaking of which, do you want me to open up your stream to give you the... You know what? I'm going to give you the viewer.
You don't need to. You don't need to at all.
I'm going to do it anyways. And someone else too.
Bandwidth struggles enough.
It's a chatting stream. It's... We're going to... Nope. Come on. Go up to...
Welcome in, Ray. Yes, I agree, Lemon, that Deuscain's VTuber does look very cool. You recently, you had that done within the last 2 months, no?
Actually, no. I had that done back in, before our last one. So this was in our previous collab.
I can see you, Lemon, yes. I can see both chats.
Chat, there we go. I'm gonna go into my other channel and get rid of the person who's streaming over there because I popped open a thing right away too. And no, I don't need that up right now. But yeah, got some people open to give support and love. But oh god, I made a mistake. Why did I put this one in this spot?
So what's what's the thing that was a good segue in that we started talking about before you had gone into being like?
I forgot about it. I think we were just talking about like what we were up to.
Yes, you, of course. Within the last 2 months, what have you been up to, please?
So I've only been streaming twice a week because my work schedule's been kind of kicking my butt, and I'm still seeing a gym trainer. Though that is almost over, so I might be able to stream a little bit more often. But so only 2 streams a week. But in the last couple months, I have finished 3 games. I just finished Final Fantasy VII Remake as of last weekend. So got to the end of that. Haven't done the DLC yet, but I've been told it's fairly good. So I might do that off stream, or I might do that on. I'm kind of in the mood to change up and do a slightly different game now because I've been playing 7 Remake since I think December.
Yeah, it's been
I might something a little bit different. Because yeah, actually, what am I up to for? Let me open this to my YouTube channel that I definitely have.
Deuscain VODs and clips, just for everyone to be aware.
Yes, clips and VODs, yeah.
Clips and VODs.
I think I have like 12 or 13 VODs for that.
Totally not copying the link over and posting in my chat.
Thank you for that. So I did beat that. I also beat Cassette Beasts, which is a game I'd played privately last year, and then was kicking myself at the end of the year for not doing it on stream. And I went back and played it on stream, and I beat that now too.
What is that game?
Cassette Beast is a Pokemon-like with an old pixel graphic style and a really cool bit of sound design where a lot of the songs in the Cassette Beasts, like a cassette tape.
Oh, sorry, you were saying it so quickly. My brain was like Giuseppe.
Yes, the mouth goes brrr. But no, Cassette Beast, instead of capturing monsters in a Pokeball, you record the monsters on a cassette tape and play them in your tape player. And you turn into the monsters yourself instead of summoning them. So when your monster hits 0 HP, it actually, it does like faint or break. I think the term is break in the game. But then the over damage actually transfers over to your character. And if they take full damage, they're knocked out. And you have to go and rest to heal. But the same applies to enemy trainers too. And if they got multiple tapes, doing enough damage to take out the trainer just ends the fight. If all the trainers are out.
Oh.
So, it's basically a Pokemon-like. It's a Pokemon clone. But I like it a lot. It has a lot of really good systems and mechanics in it that endear it to me. And it's a really, really good game. I can't stop praising it enough. I actually have a sort of super secret video project that I'd like to make, combining my footage of that into like a nice video for YouTube. Which means I actually have to learn how to do that. So that's going to be a trial there. But I'd like to for that. It's a thing I'm going to be trying to work on this year. I don't know when I'm going to have time, but it's on the list. It's on the list. But I also just recently started Chained Echoes, which is a game that was recommended to me last year by some people in chat, and I think it was kind of on my radar a little bit before then too. But people were comparing it to Sea of Stars, which is another game I loved last year.
Yes.
And I just started Chained Echoes like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and loving it so far. It is a fantasy JRPG set in like ye old fantasy world with like a big war, and there's like political intrigue, but there's also like stuff going on behind the scenes that's kind of secret. Ooh, I don't know what. Like there was literally a scene where like one character like defeats a giant monster, and a voice in his head is like, "This is gonna keep happening to you. They're gonna keep coming because you're an abomination and the world wants to kill you." And I'm like, okay, tell me more about that. And they're like, "Congratulations, you finished this quest line. Now jump to the other party of your split party." I'm like, no, go back and tell me. I want the words. Stop teasing me about this. Give me answers.
Oh, I love that. I would be the same though. I would totally be the same.
Yeah, but it's fantastic. Like I was 3 hours in for the first stream, and I'm like, no, this is a recommend. I love this. It's got a lot going on. I will give that as a warning, where like there's a lot of systems and mechanics in place, and you sometimes have to juggle a lot all at the same time. Like there's I forget what the name of the mechanic is in game, but there's like a synergy bar where like combat starts and your characters are kind of like warming up and getting into the flow, and then they hit this part of the synergy bar at the top, and they get in sync with each other, and you deal more damage, you take less damage, and all of your skills cost half as much. Oh. So it's good to stay in that zone. But if you just keep fighting normally, you'll get to the end of the zone and you kind of overheat and run out of stamina, and you start taking extra damage, and that's bad. So what you do is it'll show a little marker next to the bar that's like, hey, use a skill of this type to move the bar, which is constantly moving to the right. Use this skill to move the bar to the left. And doing that will enable you to... So you're constantly like, okay, I have to fight this monster and kill them. I'm in a moment now where I'm on my healer's turn. I need to use a big AoE heal, but the healer also has a buff skill, and I need the buff skill to stay in this overdrive status. And I don't have anybody else that can cast this type of skill. So if I don't heal, I'm going to die because I haven't been managing overdrive well enough. But if I cast heal, if I don't heal, I'm going to die because I'm too low on HP. But if I cast heal, I'm going to drop out of overdrive and I'm going to take some extra damage. So like every fight is like that, from regular minions to bosses. But just this weekend, yesterday, I was doing one where not only was I doing that, I was also on minecarts with like missing a character because the party was split. and people on the minecarts had to like hit the switches on the minecarts to direct me left or right at like the next crossing. And if you mess it up, you just basically run into an empty wall and die, and it's just an instant game over for the fight. I'm like, so I have 3 people. I'm missing a character slot, and it's a boss, which is difficult enough. And I'm also trying to drive this cart around with, like, it was so much, but it was a neat mechanic. And the game was like basically made by like one person, who I could tell is a big like anime geek and culture fan, because literally like you're in a mine and you're fighting this like levitating monstrosity with 2 drills in place of arms. That I think the name of it was like Dwarven Giga Drill Break or something like that. I'm like, that's a Gurren Lagann reference, you son of a bitch. I caught that. And it's great. I love it. They have bits and pieces of like that here and there. There's another thing that happened yesterday, and like somebody in chat's like, dude, I'm getting Full Metal Alchemist vibes from this. Like that scene in Full Metal Alchemist. I'm like, yeah, me too. This guy is sus as fuck. And he was. So, Chained Echoes has been good, but in other exciting news for me, while the model is not new, and I did have it last time we collabed together, one thing that has changed is I have hit affiliate status about 2 weeks after we did our last collab. No thanks, but thanks in part, if I can get my words right, thanks in part to your support and the support of your community, because I remember you asking people, hey, stop by Dan's stream. He's really good, and he's trying to hit affiliate. We're going to help him out. And because you and your stream helped and your community helped, I actually hit it. And on January 25th.
Makes me so proud of like the community that we have here and we're building still is one that will support everyone. So thank you everyone for going and supporting Dan with that. I noticed in your title of your stream though it still says affiliate push. You haven't changed that.
Oh fuck, I have not. Oh god, it's been up there for 2 months. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm definitely not changing that. And another thing that I also forgot to do, because I should have put a 2 in our just chatting collab for Dan and Dan.
You're good. I just put March 2024.
Oh man. So that has been a big thing. I now have access to redeems and emotes and things like that. Yes. I still need to clean it up because like I just noticed now that I got a hydrate redeem yesterday that I never noticed because it's not linked to like a sound alert, and I need to fix that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that I have to do, but I can finally use those emotes I commissioned like 2 years ago in like 2022.
You can.
And for that alone, thank you so much. That is much appreciated, to be able to go into somebody's stream and actually like say hello to them and
do your wave emote like I'm about
to do my little. That's exactly what I was gonna do. I was gonna share the wave emote. So to actually do it with myself and the representation of myself is so great, and I love that. And thank you so much.
I don't know. You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you for your continued support as well. I can actually see your little subscriber badge there, so thank you for that.
But in addition to me, I've also started doing a bunch of more commissions, which, looking at it on my end, I now have a new icon on social media. I haven't changed the one on Twitch yet because I'm a little worried that changing the one people use to find me is going to confuse them. I don't really want to change that until I'm 100% sure of it. But a friend of a friend was like, hey, I'm trying to build like my a reputation on VGen, the commission platform.
Yes.
Would you like to, I have some inexpensive commissions for profile pictures. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is cute. I like this. So that's why my picture on Twitter and Blue Sky changed to the new one. I also got a new social media banner that I found somebody doing one that's just eyes.
Welcome in, Delirian.
It looks lovely.
Just
Hello,
eyes.
Delirian.
Oh yes, I saw that. Now you just have that eyes thing for when the eyes thing comes back around in about 3 months' time. Because it always does.
What's funny, I found like 2 of them at the same time. I'm like, oh, these are so pretty. I love these. I'm gonna get one. And then like I saw the first one and I liked it. And I saw the second one. I'm like, oh, I like this even more. And I went to the second one and they didn't have any open commission slots, and they were a bit more expensive than the first. And I'm like, me go back to the first one. And I did, and then I got it back really quick. Like they were really fast turnaround time. But I also, and if you've been looking at my schedules, I have a new image I've been using for my collab schedules as well.
Welcome,
so, or not my collab
in,
schedules,
Raptor. Welcome in.
Hi, Raptor.
Sorry. First time.
But the little. But the schedules I have have a new image by artist Milk is Milk, of me drinking some tea from a clear mug. So I've been using that since late January as well. So I have some nice stuff.
You do.
I've been looking for a few other things like to get, because I would like to maybe change up a few things. Like I have my eye on a background artist for a while, but I'm like I don't.
Sorry.
I don't have a good idea.
I got to respond to chat real quick. Raptor, I am the furry. Yes, I am the one that is bouncing up and down right now with the cape and the crown. It is I, Prince Dan the Draconian. Hello, welcome in, and it is a pleasure to have you here. Sorry, DS. Do continue.
I have to interrupt my own speech with the thing here. Dan, you missed a perfect opportunity to just say, "Oh, me? I'm Dan. I'm the Dan one."
Ah, well, I didn't want to trick someone.
I know. But no,
I'm a draconian, not a raptor. So we are. I am. Part dragon, part Argonian. There you go. My brain did a freaking flip there and lost it.
Yes. Dan the Draconian is what I shall refer to. I'm not sure if this is a polite word. The scaly one?
Yes.
You are the scaly?
Yes.
So Dan the Draconian is the scaly, and the one with the shifty eyes is Deuscain.
Yes.
So, yes. The guy with the glasses. I love my little shifty-eyed little shit. He's great. I got that last year. That was wonderful.
Yeah, he's very cute.
But yeah, so like my thing is like I finished 2 games. I'm hitting a third one really hard. I'm enjoying the heck out of it. I'm kind of eyeing up a couple of games to go forward that people are recommending to me. But yeah, for now I'm just doing my thing, playing my games, trying to remember to upload VODs on YouTube because oh god.
Yep.
And then looking for things to commission to level up my account and my profile and like, yeah. So that's where I'm from, and we've spent the first half an hour just doing our intro, which is great. We're going through time great.
We're gonna still be here in like 3 hours. Oh no.
Probably. That's fine. It's a good just chatting.
Thank you for the follow, Raptor, and we just hit 375 followers. Yay! We hit our goal.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, everyone, for the support. Now I need to go and set up the next one.
Yeah. So while you're doing that, I have on my end, on the next section here, what I've referred to as the news.
The news.
I have 3 subcategories. I have VTubing.
Oh god.
I have gaming, and I have miscellaneous controversies.
Can we start with gaming?
Sure.
Thank you for the R, Raptor. So what have we got under gaming? What have we got under the gaming category?
So one of the links that you sent me that you wanted to talk about was a live stream from Xbox talking about a potential Xbox handheld console.
Yes, let me bring up that link actually. So this was actually revealed on the 1st of March, so 16 days ago. And Microsoft had one of these very staged podcast meetings uploaded to the YouTube. But it was also like, it was pre-recorded, absolutely pre-recorded. They knew exactly what they were doing with this. And what they said was like, we are looking into making a Microsoft handheld console so that we can bring more games to the people that we want to reach, like everyone, basically. And my thoughts on this are very much a case of, we know how limiting handheld devices can be, unless it's in the way of a mobile phone. But even then, you can't play certain games on a mobile phone.
Yeah, of course.
I do think if they make the price of it within an affordable range for those who, you know, are struggling, then yes, it is a good idea. However, if they don't, and they decide that we're going to make this $400 for a handheld console that you can sync up with your Xbox Live and play all your games as you go around, but then they don't make the system capable of playing those games to an adequate quality, because we had this discussion 2 months ago, didn't we, about gaming quality and my view on that.
Maybe?
I remember that we did.
Okay.
And I was saying how I value like quality and story, and you were saying that I can't remember specifically what you said, but I remember I said that. And if
you want to see what we said in the last one and jog our old tired memories, I believe both of us have the old VOD for Dan and Dan #1 uploaded to our respective YouTube channels, so you can check it out there.
Do yes. I still have not.
I know the right things to say.
I've still not set up a socials command. I'm sorry. I will get there.
One of these days.
So what I'm trying to basically say is, if they make it affordable and the system to the stage where it can run all of their games, not just some of them. Like, I mean, like upcoming next gen games as well. Sorry, I'm getting really bad indigestion and I'm not sure why. I'm going to take a sip of water.
No.
Would you like to take over with your opinion?
Sure, a little bit. So, I'll admit I did not watch the entire live stream. I thought it was a much shorter video and only tried to watch it today and saw like the full duration. I'm like, oh no, let me find the specific chapter talking about this. And I kind of couldn't, so I looked it up and it's just like, oh, they're talking about it. Like, it's not out, it's not ready. I see some validity to what you're asking for, like play all your games, do that. It is a question of whether or not they're going to be making like a Switch competitor.
Yeah.
Which would be what you're asking for, or whether they're going to be making like an Xbox version of the Game Boy, which would have its own respective set of games that would be different than the other ones. Which there hasn't been that for a while, and even if they did something like that, like if they went like the PSP route that PlayStation did, it probably wouldn't play the current gens. It would play like last gen games that would be ports.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I do think it's an interesting thing to have another competitor in the handheld space, because the Switch has been dominant there for a very long time. And from everything I've heard about the rumors about the Switch 2, Nintendo ain't changing a damn thing other than like just making it a better experience, which is, bluntly speaking, the correct decision. Because the Switch is doing so well, like why would they change this? They just make it. They should just make a better Switch, which is what they're gonna do. So there's that. But also there's the Steam Deck, which is people were talking about like this competing with. And the Steam Deck isn't perfect, and it definitely can't play everything that is on Steam. Like it doesn't work quite that well.
Yes.
But I do think that there's space in the handheld market for competition, and having Microsoft step into that space isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just a question of how are they going to compete in it, and are they going to do well? Hi, Kabold. I'm not sure which Dan you're saying hello to, but we're both Dan.
Hello. Hi, Karu. How you doing?
But yeah, it's not bad news that Xbox is thinking, or Microsoft is thinking about making a handheld console, because they really didn't have one of those. Like Sony had one that didn't work out, and Nintendo has had a series of them, and they've been the main one for a long time outside of like mobile phones. So the Steam Deck is really only starting to get into that, and that's the first example of like really strong console games being functional, at least in any capacity, on a handheld. But you're right, it isn't the full library, and that I don't know if we'll ever hit that. No. You're both named Dan. I didn't realize that's the point of the collab. It's Dan and Dan.
No,
because we like silly jokes.
So touching on that a bit, I don't ever think we will reach a stage where games are entirely accessible no matter what console or platform you're playing on. I don't think that's ever going to be a thing. I think exclusives are going to have to remain in order for shareholders to stay interested. And I think that is a deeply rooted part of gaming production, is the shareholders and what they want. So we could talk about
money side of things,
the money side of things. We could talk about, oh, this game should do this or this game should do that, but it's what the shareholders want, unfortunately, and they do listen to the game base, or the player base, I should say. But
a little bit, yeah.
But yeah, again, it's only a little bit, as you said. It's the shareholders who have the bigger voices.
Yeah, because despite the fact that we're giving money to the studios, the shareholders are often the ones that funded them initially and have a legal say in some of the stuff that happens.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it makes sense. That actually segues into the next thing I had talking about gaming. If you've in any way been on social media for the past few months, you might have heard about a few layoffs in the gaming industry, and that's been a hard time. So,
honestly,
worth addressing. My strongest point on it is hug your local game devs. They probably need one right now, and buy their cool games, not the crap that keeps getting put out that's clearly just not a good game and not good quality. And like, while people are correct that there isn't necessarily ethical consumption during capitalism, and it's a valid point, do some research and buy games from cool people who make cool games, and not just the popular things sometimes that don't treat their workers the best. So up to you, and I'm not going to judge anybody for if they want to buy something that I'm like, I don't like that game, I don't like what that company does. That's fine. Yeah, the Unity fiasco. Yeah, that's a good example. Oh, yeah, God, was that in the last 2 months? I thought that was in December. It might have been November, December. But yeah, like, there's been some bad game dev stuff going on, and yeah, give those people a hug. They deserve one. And there's awesome people. And if you're in any way thinking about like making an indie game and you want to hire some people to help you with that, almost certainly there's some people out there looking for work, and they are good people who know how to make good games. And they would love to have a boss who's not a dick.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also been not just gaming layoffs per se, but we also had the announcement recently about Rooster Teeth. I don't know if you heard about that.
I did, yes.
But yeah, Rooster Teeth and all of its subsidiaries will be closing, and that does include some notable ones that I've watched in the past, such as Funhouse, and it will be sad to see them go. There's some really strong entertainers in there, really strong people who knew what they were doing, and it's just a shame that it definitely seems that the people at the top had no idea what they were doing, and that's what's led to the layoffs in that regard at Rooster Teeth.
Actually, can I cut in here, because there's a thing I noticed in that announcement. So the company that was getting rid of Rooster Teeth is also like the company that owns Discovery, or Discover Time Warner, like Discovery's the people. And of relevance to that, talking about people who have no idea what the fuck they're doing or how to do something with cool IPs and cool brands. Those are the same fuckers that bought SourceFed and SourceFed Nerd from Philip DeFranco years ago. Immensely popular shows on YouTube, and fucking tanked them. And then they were like getting rid of all the staff. They tried to bring it back under another brand on the same channel and just change the name and tried to basically like zombify it back into life. And people just were like, did not have it. So like, yeah, Discovery doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it's been rough. So yeah, I'm hopeful that the people that are leaving Rooster Teeth are going to find a better home somewhere else. I also did hear rumors that one of the original creators of Ruby, one of the Rooster Teeth shows I used to watch, was actually inquiring like, hey, if we want to buy this IP back, who do we talk to? Like, we might want to buy this from you guys before, all of this is done. We might want this IP back because we might have some more stories to tell. But yeah, Darlerian saying Rooster Teeth's been in decline for a while. Yeah, I think I'm in agreement, because a lot of like the original founders left, And there was a bunch of controversy about like workplace behavior and things like that was going on that didn't reflect well on it. And I honestly can't remember the last time I watched any of their content. Like, I know they came out with at least one season of Ruby since I last watched any of it, and I have had like, I think I watched like a clip of it. It'll be like, how did it end? Okay, so the whole thing's in just like this space dealing with these themes. Okay, that's fine, whatever. I don't want to watch it, and I didn't. So like, it's been like you're right. It's been in decline for a while, and it would be nice to see some of the good brands on that and the good ideas that they had, finding a better place to flourish somewhere else that isn't under Discovery, because again, they don't know what they're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to, is that those at Discovery just don't know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yep.
But that's my take on the layoffs is that I think we're seeing a very large shift at the moment in the structure of gaming studios, and I hesitate to bring in this topic into this conversation, but I think it is the introduction of AI as a basis to be used by
some of it might be,
by the game studios. I suspect we will have to see what the games that come out in the next 2 years look like to determine if this has any precedence of what I'm saying, any evidence or backing. But I suspect
probably 2 to 4, honestly, because it might be them trying to start one now that uses that tech.
Yeah, so. That's true. That's my take on it. It's really sucky, and I wish they hadn't done this at all.
Yeah. I did have one additional thing to add to that, because I was watching a podcast where people were talking about this exact topic.
Oh. And
not a podcast, like a video online by a channel that does a lot of conversation about game dev. Hey, Cobalt, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. And they were saying that part of the reason why this is happening is for a very, very, very long time now, companies were basically able to borrow money at an incredibly low interest rate here in the US.
Yeah.
And essentially fund whatever crazy project they wanted to do, because even if it didn't make a lot of money, there was not much interest they had to pay. So it was essentially free money. It was very good for the industry. But now interest rates are higher, so they have to pay back this money. So if they come out with a bad idea or even a mediocre idea, it's a lot more punishing to the studio. So that part of what happened under those low rates is they grew and expanded, and we're kind of hitting the point where that bubble's bursting and contracting.
Yes.
And it does come down to the financials, and some of it is literally investors just being scared and not wanting to risk their money, which is valid, because there are some bad ideas that come out of gaming, and that's not wrong. And you were talking about AI, and that's a very low investment. Like, pay a couple $100 a month for a few licenses to a bunch of different AI platforms and just make all your shit through that. Why do that instead of hire a team? And I think they've got to fail a few times first to see the error of that judgment. Mm-hmm. But actually, you mentioning that kind of segues nice into the third topic I had under gaming.
Oh.
Which is, I would call it gaming fads, but specifically what it has on my list is Pal World to Helldivers. So when the game Pal World came out in January, people had a lot of conversations around whether or not the developers had used AI in the creation of Pal World. And I think the best quote I saw about that from like a podcast was somebody said, "There's a lot of smoke, but we haven't found the fire yet." Mm-hmm. So there was no like concrete, nailed them to the wall evidence of, yes, 100% they used AI. I'm not saying that. What we did find is like the guy who owns the studio that made it talking very favorably about AI and NFTs and tech in that space. And us being like, this is really sus. This is really sus. And it being extremely suspicious. And to the point where like enough of that came out that I'm like, I wasn't comfortable playing the game personally. But I didn't give anybody a hard time who was playing it, because I took one look at it and went, oh, this game isn't crack. This is heroin. This is full-blown heroin. They took like the building aspects of Minecraft and gave it a graphical look like Pokemon. This is fucking weeb bait left and right. This is gonna go crazy, and it did.
Yeah.
It went. It was fantastically popular, and people were very upset about it for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
What's the big game now, Dan? Is it Power World? Are people playing Power World left and right? Are people playing Power World 2 hours before their collab stream and got caught doing it on Discord?
Stop it! No. So, Helldivers 2 is very much the here and now game, isn't it? It's everywhere. You know, you look at your Twitch, who you follow, and at least one person, maybe two, will have Helldivers 2 playing at that time. Everyone's talking about for democracy or have a nice cup of liberty. It's everywhere. Nice. And
yeah,
I think that's mainly because it's a game that has an interesting aspect to it in that it's replayable, and losing doesn't mean the end. Like, your character
it's not destructive.
Yeah, your character can go in so many ways, but your character will always come back, is basically what I'm saying. And that's very much the same as other games such as like Dead by Daylight. You know, you don't
it's mission focused and it's not open world.
Thank you.
But it does let you move around and explore in the worlds and in the maps on the mission, so you can run around and see stuff and do stuff. But it's definitely a different genre of game than something like Power World. But yeah, Power World is basically dropped off the map for people paying attention to it, and Helldivers 2 has really risen to prominence. Even though I believe they're both early access, right? Power World, or I know Power World was. But Helldivers 2
is fully well. I've heard, you know, developers of the game say, "Oh, it's 90% complete. There's barely anything else we were going to be adding," and then I've heard them retract that statement and be like, "No, we didn't mean that. We're going to add some new features in the future. Stay tuned." But
I'm more just referring to the status in Steam, which is it is an early access game. Helldivers 2, is that also early access? Yes,
no.
Steam. I am old enough to look at.
I'm sure Helldivers 2 is fully out there.
Oh yeah, you're right. It is fully out. So
yeah.
Okay.
And all content they're adding now is completely free. Like, it comes with the game. You get it as it is. There's nothing pay to win about it. You get all of the in-game currencies, even like the exclusive stuff, just from doing missions.
Which is nice. Yeah.
You know, that's
it ought to be with the asking price for it. It's $40. Holy crap!
There's so much
people are also
content.
enjoying it.
There's so much.
People are enjoying the heck out of it.
Random generation involved that you could go from level 1 difficulty and be like, "Oh, this is really nice." Jump up to level 4 out of the maximum of 9 and be like, "Wow, this is very different." And then you jump to 8 and you're like, okay, this is impossible. But that's because you have to work your way up. You can't just jump from one to the other. It's a learning experience, that game. And that's one of the reasons why I keep going back to it. And I know for a fact Ray, one of my mods, is playing it as we speak. Is that you know, you never know what's going to happen.
How do you know that? Is it maybe a message in Discord that shows their status, or who knows? I'm teasing.
Is he?
But the reason why I put this on the list of things to talk about is there's a lot of bad things in the world that happen, and they might upset us running into them or encountering them and experiencing them. And it feels like, you know, if because there's a lot of really depressed experiences online for people these days of just like doom and gloom, everything's bad, everything's terrible. And I thought about this because I'm like, Power World was a little bit of that for me. It was like, oh, I hate this. I hate that it's so successful, even though it looks not the greatest and has problems, and even though it is extremely suspicious that it's a good product at all. It's doing financially well, and people are like, "Oh, this is going to be the future of gaming going forward." Hence how we segued into this. And I thought that was a bad thing. And now 2 months later, people are like, "What's Palworld?" Oh, right, that thing I played in January. So it's a thing to remember that this too shall pass.
Yes.
Like if there are things in the world that are bad and troubling, it's not that they're not serious, and it's not that they're not a big deal. But if they upset you, if they bother you, if they really get under your skin, it is important to remember this too shall pass.
Yes.
The sussy, maybe not AI clone of Pokemon will lead eventually we'll depart those waters and go to the much more fruitful pastures of democracy and liberty and fire in the hole.
Especially with how often Helldivers 2 is currently changing. I don't know how they've done it, but they seem to have coded it so that after a certain amount of days, the game doesn't even install a Steam update. It just releases a new mission to everyone in the game to be like, defend this planet, or you need to release this global termicide stuff to protect these planets. And then it ends and an update doesn't come out, but a new mission starts for everyone. It's the amount of coding that they've put into it, the amount of work they've put into it really does show, is what I'm trying to say. So.
Yeah. But it's a message of, strangely enough, of hope. That just because you have a thing that happens and you're not happy about it, and there's a lot of people that might have some bad things going on, like the game dev studios getting rid of all their staff. It's a hard time, and there's some bad things going on, but this too shall pass, and things will get better. So keep your chin up, chat.
Does Helldivers 2 have a dungeon master or game master working with the team? Because if so, that's really awesome. And it does make a lot of sense now what's come out.
It explains why the planning sounds so good, because I've met some DMs. They got their shit together. You need a good PM for anything like that. Like a project manager, and yeah, if you're ever in a company looking to hire a project manager, find your local dungeon master in like a shop. Trust me, they can do some project management.
Absolutely. Speaking as a homebrew DM.
But that's what I had in gaming myself. How about you, Dan? Did you have any other gaming related news that you wanted to talk about?
I don't know if this is the... No. I'll save that for Court Weekly, which is tomorrow. But yeah, there's a few personal announcements that I have to make following my first sponsored stream.
Ooh, congratulations!
Thank you. It was a nice game, actually. It was a Spear Song, which is a roguelike kind of tactical turn-based strategy game with RPG elements as well.
Sounds interesting. Spear Song, you called it?
Yeah, it's 2 words, spear and then song. It releases on 20-something of March. May, sorry.
May 28th. I'm looking at it on Steam now, and the demo's out.
Yes, that's what we played. We got sent a demo key, so we checked it out, and we'll be playing it in full when it fully releases. There are a few things they haven't added yet, but they definitely hinted to there being ways of you to level up your character stats. So that's exciting. Nice.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, I'll talk about that more tomorrow on Court Weekly. So yeah, I'm happy to move on to a topic of your choice now.
So we have 2 topics left. Miscellaneous controversies and VTubing. I'm going to chime into miscellaneous controversies because I think it'll segue into VTubing a little bit easier later because of a thing I want to share with you then. Okay. But first topic I have in miscellaneous controversies. Let's talk about daylight savings time, Dan. What do you think about daylight savings time?
All right, whoever out there decided daylight savings time is a really nice way to live is it's a complete imbecile. They basically did it for money's sake, because they thought, oh, the shops could be open longer if we do this, and people...
you'll spend less on heating and cooling bills. Yes,
you'll be able to spend more time in the shops instead of at home because of the sunlight. No, okay? Some of us like to be able to schedule things at appropriate times. The entire timing schedule for this entire week has been fucked around with because of these daylight savings time. It was originally made for agriculture, but you feel like societies provide past the need for it. Yes.
Yeah,
it was for the farmers to be able to have more sunlight for their crops, so that they would grow better and be higher quality. Yada yada yada. Yeah. Now we're just doing,
Now it's tradition. We can't change that. We've been doing it the same way for decades, maybe even centuries.
Fuck that. Fuck that, okay? I'm saying it. I'm swearing. I shouldn't. But fudge that. That's not... That's not...
No fudge. They don't get candy. They've been bad. No dessert for you.
That's not the way that the population wants to live. And it should go... It should go to a vote in each country, I feel.
You're talking about the way the population... I got a good segue from that. So,
what's your take on daylight savings before we segue?
Well, before we get that, I want to talk about some friends that are in another Discord I'm hanging out with. They talk about, they're thinking about getting rid of daylight savings time. And I'm like, oh, so we're not going to jump forward in the spring. And they're like, no, we're not going to jump back in the fall. I'm like, then that's not getting rid of daylight savings time. That's staying on it forever. You're doing it backwards. You're not calling it the right thing.
That would be terrible.
But yeah, so daylight savings time. Growing up in a country that has had it my entire life, you kind of take it on the chin and move forward. And entertainingly enough, you mentioned that because even when I was talking to Dan about like, oh, when are we going to be starting? Just to double check the time with you. He's like, yeah, in about 2 hours at 12 p.m. EST. And I go, you mean 12 p.m. DST for daylight or ED3 for Eastern Daylight Time? And my fun fact about that is, I didn't used to say EDT until I started streaming. And I needed to make sure people in different time zones in different parts of the world knew when the fuck I was streaming. Because I always called it EST growing up because everyone around me was on the same time zone. So it didn't matter. But it would be Eastern time would be whatever it is, for me at least, whatever it is when, like at that time of the year, ET.
Yeah.
But if you want to get specific, Eastern Standard is in like the winter when you match up with the rest of the world, and Eastern Daylight is like March to November or some shit like that. Times up help us understand the difference in time over the world. Noon in Florida is not noon in Australia. Yeah, I mean it would be interesting to get rid of time zones, but there'd be one. The problem is, someone would get to keep their normal schedule. And everybody would argue about who that should be.
Absolutely.
And it would just be a catastrophic fight. Time zones aren't necessarily a problem, and daylight savings time isn't awful either. Thank you for the shout out there, Dan. I see you.
I want to come back to the hot take. You've had your say.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing for me because I'm so used to it. But I've heard a lot of bad stories about it. Like literally, I've heard like suicide rates go up. Like the few days after it happens, everybody's fucking grumpy. There's so many people this week that I'm just like, they're like, oh my god, it was just an hour difference, but I'm so tired. I'm like, you're not wrong, and I've been a sleepy boy this week as well. That mostly has to do with me, like my body just being like, hey motherfucker, it's 2:30 in the morning, time to wake up. And I'm like, but my alarm doesn't go off for hours, and my body's like, bitch, we said get up, wakey wakey motherfucker. And I've had like 3 nights this week that I've been up at 2:30, and I'm like, I'm so tired of this shit.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that feels better for you, though. That gets better. I mean,
oh, I'm sorry that people were mean to you at your service job, Kobold. That's not okay. Treat your service workers with respect. They put up with way too much shit.
Work weekends. Not looking forward to today. Get through this with the mindset of when this is over, I go home and I don't give a fuck about any of you. Just keep that in your mind the entire time you're smiling and having to put up with people's shit. Is when I get home, I don't have to give a fuck about any of you.
It always reminded me of
again.
a book
Oh
I read in my I'm swearing a lot too, so I'm making it more socially acceptable. But no, I'm reminded of a book series I read when I was growing up in like high school or something, and there was times they're fairly violent book series, but there was one part where like somebody got mad on somebody's behalf or putting up with.
Kyrie made me fucking jump. Thank you for the.
Yeah, they just told you to watch your profanity.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my god.
But somebody was just like, I can't believe they treated you that way. Why did you put up with it? And they're just like, listen there. While I was standing around listening to them making their stupid comments, I was sitting there imagining what it would sound like to hear their bones snap. And I've never forgotten that. I'm like, yeah, on a really bad thing, I'll have the biggest grin on my face, and I'll just be like, snap, snap, motherfucker.
No,
snap, snap.
No, that's so psychopathic.
A little bit, but sometimes that gets you through the day. Sometimes, usually it's not a bad thing. No, people usually aren't that bad.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're just like, I am running you over with a bus and then putting it in reverse and doing it again.
I agree with Kyrie.
Can I help you with anything else today, sir?
Wow. Okay.
I've worked a lot of service jobs in my life. I have a deep well of rage.
Let's segue on from this. But
you wanted to go back to the hot take on daily. You want to go back to that, yeah?
Yes. So, Corey, welcome in. By the way, we don't need time zones. I don't know. I feel like I do kind of disagree. I agree and disagree because time zones ruin so much stuff, but we would never ever agree on a global time zone for the entire planet because of the sun. Like, we can't say it's 12 p.m. when it's the sun is like gone, like it's nighttime. We could never do that ever. So many people would argue and fight. The stocks would not manage it all. We'd basically see like economies just collapse, I'm pretty sure, if we agreed on a global time zone. But
to say nothing of all the fighting that would be about who would get to keep the one that matches up with like the way we're doing it currently.
Yeah.
My opinion would be, let's just put it at the international date line and put midnight there, and then it just go from that. The first place after that gets to be the one like that gets their thing, which isn't even mine. Like it's not mine, but people would absolutely be arguing like, oh, but do Europe, because we're like, a lot of civilizations come from Europe. It's like, yeah, a lot of bad things would come from Europe too. Shut up, Europe. Or like people would argue like, oh, it should be PST because so many people do stuff on PST time. And I'm like, as an East Coast person, politely go fluff yourself. Like it's no. Screw your West Coast bullshit.
I think this has devolved into an East Coast West Coast fight. Welcome into it.
It's evolved into everybody in every time zone cocking a shotgun and going, but I'm right.
No, it's not. We're not doing any roasts of anything today. We're just ranting about things. You're welcome to rant about something. You want to roast some peanuts? You can roast some peanuts.
Yeah, roast some peanuts.
East Side, no, stop it. Let's not start a freaking East Side, West Side. Let's not do East Side, West Side story, okay?
Well, also, what's the East Side in this? Because you're on the eastern side of the Atlantic Ocean, and I'm on the western side of it, but I'm on the eastern side of the U.S.
And I'm on the western side of Europe.
Yeah, exactly. Watch them like get like a hat and just put every country's name in there. All right, the one we sync all the times that sync up to, and they pull it out, and it's like some country in the middle of nowhere, like that everybody's just like, oh, not like Madagascar. Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
No offense if you're in Madagascar, but there's gonna be some complaining if it's Madagascar. There's gonna be some complaining no matter who it is.
I want you to know I just got an ad on your channel for 2K24.
Yeah, ads are running. I don't know. I haven't figured out how to control them, but my ads, my ad break is running. Yes,
a new month. Oh, 13 months. What's your thoughts on that? If they added a new month,
I'm surprisingly more okay with that than I would expect to initially. Like, get it to map up to like the moon cycle, and just leave it alone. It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. because it's still gonna be a thing. But
yeah.
I don't know. I live in America. We haven't adapted the metric system yet. So anybody being like, we should all change to a thing, I'm just like, but we're not. We're not.
Like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah.
We're using freedom. We're using freedom units for everything, and I always have to do the math of just being like, here's a personal pet peeve: Fahrenheit.
Celsius.
Fucking Fahrenheit.
Celsius.
No. I'm on your side about this.
Oh.
The point of Fahrenheit was 100 degrees Fahrenheit was supposed to be human body temperature. That was the point. The dude who made it got his temperature sample from his daughter, who was sick at the time, which is why the regular human body temperature is 98.6 degrees under Fahrenheit. It had a point. He was making it for a reason, and then he found out he fucked up, and he's just like, oh, but then I have to redo all that work, so nah. Like, it's so infuriating. I hate it so much as soon as I found that out. Just give us Celsius. 0 is freezing, 100 is boiling, and the world is fine.
Okay, let me read some of the chats before you have that sip of your drink. Oh my god. So, going back to the discussion we had about time zones, Corey said, true, people would definitely argue, but if people weren't a problem, we wouldn't need time zones. Midnight in the UK is dark, and midnight in Australia is bright. You don't need to remember times. Leon then came in. Welcome in, Leon. Cairo then was saying midnight is midnight though, which is true.
The road is 4,500 hot dogs and an eagle screech long freedom units. Damn right it is.
Absolutely.
God bless freedom units.
God bless America.
Oh man.
There is an ad playing, everyone. 13 months means every month would be 28 days. Always. So there would no longer be any 30 or 31 days nonsense.
Technically, we wouldn't be getting rid of leap years, so that's not true.
Yeah, leap year, we'd still have 29 days in February once every 4 years, wouldn't we? So, yeah, it's tricky. I don't actually know the origins of leap year. That's maybe something we can discuss next time we get together.
I vaguely, actually, I think I could just say it now. I vaguely have some recollection of, like, they did the math on it, and it was almost right. And then a couple hundred years later, they checked the math again. They're like, no, we're off by like 2 weeks. What's up with that? And like, they eventually figured it out like, oh, it's every 4 years you need this. And then the math was off again. So it's every 4 years, it's a leap year. If the year ends, if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, unless it's a century, in which case you look at like what the century numbers are and if those are divisible by 4. Oh. So 2000 was a leap year. 2100 will not be.
Oh.
So it's even more complicated. And that's not even right.
What is
the But that's as far that's basically gotten people to the point where like they're like, this is close enough, we'll fix the calendar when it breaks again. But the point of leap year is when you don't get the calendar right, because basically, in fact, think of it, every 4 years you're going to get a leap year. So every 100 years you're going to add 25 days, which means eventually you're going to have summer temperatures at Christmas time, which is weird. So it's people trying to keep the seasons locked to the calendar.
That's nice, but what happens when the seasons change due to global warming?
I mean, it's that too.
But oh dear.
But yeah, generally people want to try and keep things as synced as they've always been, quote unquote. Did it offset to compensate calendar actual time around the sun? The Earth is slowing down, so it's not perfect. Yeah, it's an imperfect system, and it's not quite right. I'm far more okay with leap years than I am with daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is far more relevant all the time, and a lot more of like, fuck it, we ballin'. My brain just shut down there for a second. Sorry, but yeah, daylight savings time is a constant yearly. This messes with everybody because don't you have to shift as well? Doesn't the UK shift?
We do. On the 31st of March, we will be going forward an hour. So we will. I think we we lose or gain it? I don't freaking know.
You lose an hour of sleep. It goes from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
In basically a minute.
Yeah.
So you get 1 hour less sleep, and everybody's grumpy because of it. So
but
yeah,
hey, more
that's the thing with daylight savings.
Crops.
Yeah. Well, more just like when the farmers get up to work on the crops, it's brighter and they can see. Because honestly, the amount of sunlight the crops are getting is not changing significantly much due to the hour time change. It's just when the farmers get up to actually work the fields, they can see things, which is relevant in like 1800s. A little bit less so now that we have electrical lighting. But yeah,
that's true. Okay, what is next on our list of miscellaneous controversies?
So, I had a thing I found that I wanted to talk to you about beforehand, but I didn't get a chance to. I'm going to send it to you now. It's a tweet.
A tweet?
And I will...
Got a tweet?
It's not my tweet. It's somebody else's tweet. I'll post it in both of our chats. Hopefully you allow links. I think you do.
I will post it.
Thank you for the follow. Pipe me, Leon. So I shared it in both of them. But it's somebody sharing a thing out there. That it's kind of like... somebody wrote in and said... I've come across VTubers who have been streaming long before me, from the late 2010s, and this makes me want to quit because I feel like I'll never be able to reach a following of their size, especially since I've barely been streaming for 2 months. And I had like 30 minutes to an hour yesterday of chewing on this in my brain.
Give me a second, yes. It was just a sound alert was playing of Toad singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Thank you.
Also, thank you for the compliments about my model Pixel, or about Leon. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Master, for that. Sorry, you'll have to repeat everything you just said because the sound was very loud.
Oh, so you weren't listening to me? You were just listening to Bohemian Rhapsody instead.
I couldn't listen to you. I was trying, and I was like, nope, I'm gonna have to say something.
So to repeat this to Dan, I found this tweet online that I shared with him in Discord. I shared with both of y'all in the Twitch chats. Somebody wrote into a VTuber and said, "Hey, I've come across VTubers who have been streaming long before me, from the late 2010s, and this makes me want to quit because I feel like I'll never be able to reach a following of their size, especially since I've barely been streaming for 2 months. What do I do?" And I read this like yesterday. I think this was it tweeted yesterday? Yeah, the 15th, so 2 days ago. And I saw this and like I kind of had a think about that. And I'm like, okay, how do I feel about this? What do I think about this? So I chewed on this for a while, and I had a bit of a back and forth in my head about it. And I'm curious like what your instant reaction to it, Dan, is, because I had some time to chew on this, and I'm curious what your knee-jerk reaction is, because I'll tell what mine is, but I don't want to impose upon you or affect your reaction here.
So my initial reaction is that this person needs to understand that the society we live in is it is built upon us constantly comparing ourselves to other people, and what we need to stop doing is comparing ourselves to other people. Someone's success is in a very different form to someone else's. Someone could have thousands of followers and still say I'm not successful, but someone else could look at that and go, wow, you're successful. So when it comes to this, it's a case of don't quit, keep going, just make sure you're doing it for fun though. It is so hard to build or grow so quickly as people. Like the reason people in the late 2010s, or those even in 2009 when YouTube was a thing, had just like started, when those big YouTubers now have like millions of followers, it's because it took them 15 years to get there. It's not going to
We're on a very similar page for our feelings.
Yeah, it's not going to take you 2 years or a few months. This is something you have to work on day in, day out. And that's if you want to. Like, VTubing is a lot of fun. It could also be very stressful. It can be very difficult constantly getting DMs that are from fake people. It can be difficult when there are fallouts between two of your friends in the community and you're not sure how to handle it. Or someone moves on from hanging out with you because there's someone bigger that they want to hang out with. That kind of thing. Not that that's happened to me, but it's happened to other people, and it sucks when that happens. But it's very much a case of, if there are people who are bigger than you, that is good for them, but you need to find what's good for you, not focus on comparing yourself to someone else. So
I'm loving this answer. This is great.
Over to you. Oh, actually, can we read chat real sec? Because there's a big paragraph there, and that is going to play on my mind. Kairu agrees. The most important thing, I think, is not to compare yourself to others. Don't overload yourself. Didn't realize streaming could be so tiring. You started out trying to do 3 to 4 hour streams 4 days a week, got burnt out, haven't been live since January, really got into your own head, planning a much more responsible comeback though. Good to hear it. This person might be seeing it as a competition, as if someone can only follow one streamer at a time.
Yeah, Leon actually made a good comment in my chat about they didn't think the streamers should worry about numbers as the goal as being a VTuber, which is also good. So, my initial knee-jerk reaction, and I am somebody that often will look at perspectives on things. I will have multiple views in my head. So I looked at this and went, okay, the right answer is to comfort this person, support them, console them. Emotionally, why do I want to tell them to just quit? Okay, because that was my knee-jerk reaction. It's like, you're upset that in 2 months' time you haven't been as popular and successful as people who've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you should just quit. And I chewed on that. That's kind of why I chewed on it for so long, because I'm like, oh, I don't like this response from me. Why did I do this, and what am I coming from? And you made some valid points of like a lot of visibility in the VTubing space, especially for the very big streamers. Somebody like HoloLive or Niji Sanji, like it looks like they're starting with a brand new account and they immediately hit hundreds of thousands of subscribers, hundreds of thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of viewers in some cases.
Yeah. And
you can be like, well, why isn't that happening to me? And it's hard to understand as a casual viewer, or maybe we lose sight of it as long-term people in this community. Those VTubers in those corporate roles, that's not their first day on the job. That's their first day in that role, but it is not their first day streaming. Many of those people had successful streaming careers or content creation jobs before they ever became a streamer. So comparing yourself from 2 months of work to people that have been working for years is like, what did you expect? Like somebody said, like they don't have good expectations of what they should be able to accomplish in 2 months' time.
You need to be realistic.
Yeah, exactly. And what fascinated me most about my response is I had the same basic argument for both sides of you should keep working and trying at this versus you should quit. And it was the same evidence of you're not going to be as popular as the people that have been doing this for 5 years in 2 months. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing looking at my own head of like seeing me kind of split off in those two responses.
Yeah, I agree.
We all go into streaming and content creation for our own reasons. And it's worth, and my advice to this person, it's worth examining what those reasons are. And that's my advice to this person. Because like I'm in it, I'll admit, in part as a financial thing. I want to make a little bit of extra money on top of my day-to-day job to help pad the bills and put some money aside and do some stuff.
Yeah.
It's also a social thing for me. I like streaming. I like socializing. I've been part of social spaces that were involved around streaming for years, for probably close to a decade now. So it's an aspect of socializing that I like and enjoy. So I see it as a way to do that. But I also just like games and gaming, and I want to share that with people and be like, hey, look at this cool thing I have that I love. and I want to share that with people. And it's that aspect of it that that I really enjoy. So looking at this person and how they're looking at the situation, if they're 2 months in, then like, I'm never going to have a following. I'm never going to be as popular as, to pick a name, Iron Mouse. Yeah, you're not going to be an Iron Mouse in 2 months. Iron Mouse was an Iron Mouse in 2 months. And why is that what you're going for? Why is it that you want popularity and fame? Maybe examine that. Maybe try to understand that, because VTubing is a creative space. There's a reason why they call us content creators. It is a creative space, and generally the people that do well in creative industries across the board are people who learn to enjoy the process of creation. And if all you want is the results at the end, you're going to have a bad time. And that's what I suspect this person wanted. Like and I could be wrong. I could be completely off base here, because they might just be like, "Oh, how am I ever gonna get to this place?" And I think your point of it, like, it is hard work all the time, constantly, for weeks, months, years to get to these places. And you're absolutely right. That is the mechanical way of how you do it. But it's also worth examining, like, why do I want this? What is the thing that's pushing me forward and driving me? Because if you can't scratch that itch, or you realize it's an itch you shouldn't be trying to scratch, that it's maybe a shallow desire for popularity and fame, like, there are probably better ways to get that. And also, like, if it's not a good reason, you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're 2 months in because you want to be popular and famous, it's better to tap out now than after you've spent thousands of dollars on art and models to only realize you don't like this and you don't want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why people liking this space and this method of doing it is why people are VTubing instead of doing stand-up or improv. There's something in this space that lets them express that side of themselves. That's also why I think a lot of people in the LGBTQ community are big fans of VTubing, because they get to turn on their avatar and their idealized version of themselves is there. It's not weeks or months away. They can be the person they feel they are, they want to be, they see themselves as. They can be that immediately and have people see them and recognize them as such. And that's a very validating experience as well. So,
welcome into Strike, and welcome into Horns as well. Hello, hello.
Hi, Horns.
I'm just having a small trouble with myself. I've just stepped off screen for a second. I will hopefully be right back.
Okay.
As soon as
I will read both chats. Leon was saying in mine that maybe it's watching others get popular overnight. I see that a lot and can be disheartening. There's somebody who streams just to create structure in their life, and that they're not able to work normally, so VTubing is the next best thing for them. Yeah, that's the thing with Iron Mouse. Like, Iron Mouse couldn't hold down a regular normie job. Her health issues would completely prevent that. That's part of why Iron Mouse streams. She talks about that. Like, she's very clear about that and like why she does it. And she even talks about, like, VTubing is her break. It's what she does for fun. Her hard work is what she does when she's done when the camera turns off and she goes to the hard work of fighting for herself. And Leon's right there. As an LGBT person, use VTubing to create a more validating experience for yourself. Absolutely. There are people who do that. I know people who do that. And it's a great space for them.
I'm going to drop Leon a follow real quick.
Yeah.
Solidarity with the trans community.
Solidarity.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. I don't put that label on my stream just because I am restricted with how many. I can't believe that is a thing of Twitch, by the way, that you can only do 10 tags.
Hey, they didn't used to let you do custom tags. Like.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. Were you not here when that was happening?
No.
It used to be. I think it used to be 5 tags total, maybe, but they were like, you chose it out of a list.
Oh.
So like, the ability to like customize your own tags for stream was something in like the last year or two.
You're welcome, Leon.
Yeah, it did not used to be there. And I both have a love and hate thing. I kind of wish they had some of the standard ones back, because you could define like language or like no spoilers or first playthrough. that kind of stuff in those other tags very quickly and easily. But they didn't have a lot of nuance there. It took forever for VTubing to be a tag.
Oh really?
That was a whole. Oh yeah, it wasn't one initially. So the ability to define that is nice, but it also gets rid of the ability to quickly and easily find people because we're not all using the same tags. When I go to type in tags on my end, I constantly keep seeing like recommendations like, oh, do you mean this for first playthrough? And I look at it and go, no, that's misspelled. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, the amount of Persona ones there are is crazy now.
That too, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I kind of wanted to get your vibe on that because I didn't want to influence your response because it's interesting to see how people react to this. But I also think it's kind of funny that my initial reaction was so negative and so aggressive against them. And then I kind of talked myself back from it and just like, take a look at yourself and what you want. And rather than trying to focus on the numbers and being big, unless that's what you want, you know, find joy in the creative process, find joy in the doing and fulfilling what you want. Like, that's kind of why I like collabs like this, because I get to chat with people, I get to socialize, I get to hang out. That's why most nights of the week I'm in somebody else's Twitch chat, chatting with them and hanging out, because I like doing that. It's a social experience.
It is. And
that's why I play the games I play rather than like jumping to the popular stuff, because like I could have probably brought streamers in playing Pal World in January, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to play that. I could probably do the same thing for Helldivers. And Helldivers actually looks fun. Like, I would play Helldivers.
It's on your wish list, I noticed.
I know. Yeah. Those Baldur's Gate 3, and that's at the top. But then I haven't even bought that, even though it's on sale. Though I did buy Sekiro, which is a thing a friend of mine's playing. But that was also half off. Will you be
playing that on stream?
I'm playing it off stream.
That's fine.
I was debating it. I was considering adding it as like my Tuesday stream, because the one streamer I know that is currently playing Sekiro that I've admittedly been giving a bit of a hard time because she's been struggling with the game.
Games are expensive. Yes, they are.
She doesn't play on Tuesdays. She doesn't stream at all. So I'm like, I probably should give her a night to bully me a little bit too, because actually here's a fun story about me. We're gonna segue off of this here. So I've been hanging out with a friend. And I've been kind of giving her shit for basically the last 6 months that I've known her. Because she was playing, she likes a lot of Soulsborne games, and I'm a bit of a troll in her chat. And she was getting hit a lot, and I'm like, oh, she was playing Liza P. And I'm like, oh, you should block. You should try blocking that. Try to get your block right. And just being a little gremlin shit to her. And she was getting frustrated a little bit with me, and understandably so. And that was kind of our relationship. We're a bit like step siblings, with just like bapping each other and just being a little gremlin shits.
Yeah.
We just figured out this week that the controller she's been using the entire time I've known her has had a defective button.
What?
It's the fucking block button hasn't worked right and sometimes sticks for the last 6 months, and I felt so awful and so guilty about that. Tell her to get good. I was telling her to get good, and it turns out she was doing it fine. The fucking button just didn't work.
Yep, Cairo haunts. Yep, same reaction.
So,
oh my god.
So we are giving her a little bit of shit for like, oh, the controller was broken the whole time. We're like, oh really? Was it now? Wink, wink. But I do trust her. Actually, as a token of, because I've done some collabs with her in the past. But partially as an apology to her for all the shit I gave her, I actually bought her a new controller. I got her one up. I recommended one on Throne. I'm like, check your recommendations for Throne for this thing. And she's like, sure. Are you sure? Actually, it's funny. She wrote back like, are you sure about that? I'm like,
that's really nice.
Yeah. And she's like, but it's so expensive. I'm like, no, it's like $70 or something. And she's like, oh, it defaulted to the one for like the gold plated one that's 150. I'm like, no, sorry. I'm not doing that, but I will drop 70 for you.
That's so nice.
It is my peace offering for all the shit I gave her. But what's funny, in her day job, she has the same day job I do. We both work in IT. Oh. And we're both just laughing there that first night we found this out. We're like, how many IT people does it take to diagnose a hardware issue on a peripheral device. Apparently 2 of them isn't enough because we didn't do that in 6 months' time. Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Oh
my gosh.
But it's funny. It is funny. I forget how I segued off of that from this into that, but that is a fun little story of crap that was going on with me. I feel so bad about that. I do. Even still, like, it's been a few days, and I'm still just like, I gave her so much shit.
Oh.
And she's been a sport about it. She's been a very good sport. And when I've pushed it too far on certain nights, she's been like, okay, you need to stop it. I'm like, okay, yes, I will behave myself now. This is supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, I'm stopping.
Yeah, that's good.
But
that's good.
Oh god, she was having such a miserable time. I know what it was, Sekiro. She was having such a miserable time in Sekiro. And it's because you need to block in that game. It's a core mechanic. When your block button sticks, you have a bad time.
Yeah. I've watched gameplay. It's not a game I would touch myself, but I have definitely seen gameplay. Yeah. Damn.
I at least feel validated enough as I've been playing it to be like, okay, so I can get about this far in the first few days of playing it. Yeah, I respect for anybody that clears this because it's hard even in the little bits I've been playing. Mm-hmm. But also I feel happy that I'm competent enough to get because I'm like past the first like major boss. I've done like an upgrade for my health and an upgrade for my attack.
Nice.
For anybody that has played it that knows how far that is. It's relatively early on. Like there's like a dozen attack upgrades over the course of the game, and I'm like 1 in. So it's there's a lot more game to it.
Yeah.
But
shall we?
Yeah.
Shall we come back to one of our topics? What have we got?
Sure. We are segueing off of. So that was my second one for miscellaneous controversies, which only leaves us with the VTubing news.
Oh. How are we gonna fit it all into like 30 minutes?
Sure. I'm not sure how long you want to stay, but we can probably go on for about some of this. But
where do you want to start?
I mean, there's a slogan I've been seeing going around for the last month or so that I have to repeat, which is they could have chosen any color, but they chose black. And
amazing! Any color / Niji Sanji.
That one. Yeah, that one.
Let's talk about this a little bit.
Oh my god.
So when everything started and I saw it, I was in shock. I was like, whoa, okay, what is going on here? Why is the support not up to where it should be in terms of
oh my god,
this company should be doing as much as they can to protect people, and they've thrown this person under the bus. And then I saw, or perhaps I should say, I listened to the statement that was put out on one of the Livers channels that included
that one.
That included Ike and Vox. Now Vox was someone that I supported quite heavily, merch buying, watching every stream, that kind of thing. So when that stream happened, or video happened, I was very much taken aback, and I decided to delve a little bit deeper into the Livers that I had supported at the time, namely Vox, and it was found that this was not a good person that I was following, and I immediately, saw the evidence of everything that came to light from who they were as a person, and I was like, oh, so
good old past lives.
I then, yeah. Hi, Wire, by the way. Can we get a... oh, let me do the shout out. I think Ray is busy, so let me do it.
So, yeah.
There we go.
We're...
So, yeah, Vox was, I don't know if I should say all this stuff because it could legally come back to me, but
probably not worth saying the details, but you looked into their past life stuff that people have collected online, and not all of it is sunshine and roses. I actually didn't dig into Vox too much. I just know some people did, and I know that there was some controversy.
There was substantial evidence of certain bad things that they had done and said and still believed in. So I was like, nope, okay, so everything merch-wise is in a drawer. It's not going to come out of that drawer. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's going to sit there until I'm ready to have that conversation with myself.
Yep. Can emotionally process a bit first. Good idea.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
Oh, that's laundry. I'll get to it later.
Oh, is your laundry ready?
Was it? It beeped at me that the dryer's done. That's fine. It'll sit there. I wasn't sure if it came through on your end.
No, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
And then, so at that point, I decided, right, I'm done. So I deleted, or unsubscribed from everyone, deleted all of the videos waiting in my watch later, knocked out like 200.
Oh, wow.
200 videos out on my watch later. It's still at over 400, I will say that now. But I am working through them a lot quicker than I was.
Yeah, not having to watch old VODs will do that. Yep.
Yeah, you have thoughts about Niji, but you'll keep it to yourself because the whole thing is messy. Yes, it's very messy. It's still very messy. Every single week, something else seems to crop up.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I've got some things here.
That's my take, is that the support for Deuscain has been amazing. Thank you to everyone who has shown any support for Deuscain. Please continue to support your friends, check in on them, especially if they are in any kind of corporation. Look after yourselves, and I'll hand over to see what your opinion is.
Oh boy. So, let me preface this by saying two things, because these are going to be my genuine thoughts. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. I'll sugarcoat it a little bit here. One, mistreatment of anybody in any job or any position is not okay, and pushing somebody's mental health to the point where they almost say goodbye to us forever is a bad thing. I've worked jobs that made me feel like that. Not okay. Ever. Do not the like.
Yeah.
Also, I have a background of doing IT work, as I've mentioned, and I've actually done IT work for the government. So I have a big corporate background mindset of a few things here. And when I read the initial Niji Sanji announcement for Selen, that read fairly cut and dry to me. I'm like, oh, so in her contract, she was supposed to do a thing. She didn't do the thing. And they tried to correct her multiple times. Didn't work out. And eventually they fired her. Makes sense. And honestly, like reading through that, this is another learnable lesson for anybody that's streaming or does VTubing. I got to the point in the original firing message from Niji where they're like, yeah, and then we took down her video. So then she said something on Twitter to everybody saying they took down my video, so everybody just re-upload it. And I didn't clock it at the time, but I'm like, ooh, that's gonna get somebody fired. And I almost tweeted about it the day that they did that for her. And I like had it all typed out, and I looked at that and went, I should not say that today. Nope. That is not a relevant thing that needs to be said. I will just catch shit. And I deleted it.
That's an extremely smart thing to do.
Yes, it is. I'm so happy because I would have eaten so much shit from that.
I meant is in like seeing something you were about to post that would, add to a potential drama and just going, no, I'm not going to do this. Like,
yeah, as long as you catch yourself, it's okay. Yeah, there is a strong tendency in both Western culture and VTubing culture to like just post whatever comes across your mind. You can see it in streams and how people talk and but some of the really extreme things people post online. Yes. And yeah, I'm happy that I caught myself and be like, I don't need to say this. I don't need to say it like right now. Sure as hell don't need to say it right now, but might not even need to say it at all. But it's worth addressing and going like, yeah, she was working for a company. The company had rules. She didn't follow their rules and she got fired because of it. And that makes sense to me as coming from a corporate environment. Because let me tell you, however tight your corporate environment is, I assure you, the government is more structured. I had to tell them I was doing a side job as a streamer and get them to approve it before I could do that, or I would get written up and could be fired.
Are you still doing the government job, by the way?
I'm doing I'm not at that job because that's the one that made me really unhappy. I left that job last year, and I'm still happy about that. The new job I have is also doing things in the government sector, and I also have to tell them what I do for my side jobs. Mostly it's done, like, when you look at the questions they ask, it's like, oh, are you involved in the assigning of any permits? Are you doing any kind of procurement and purchasing? There's a lot of, like, anti-corruption stuff is what they're kind of, the questions are centered around, which is in no way relevant to me, but everybody has to file that paperwork. Thoughts on vague posting?
What is vague posting?
Probably just saying something, but saying it very vague, so you don't necessarily address who it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that can be taken in many different ways, can't it? Like...
Yeah, I would generally want people to be more direct, because vague posting just kind of, I don't personally like it. The company that was messing with Doki to an extreme degree, and the person who's song, yeah, you're not wrong about that, but it's still, if Niji's contract, or if Niji's message about firing her is correct, that, like, she has a procedure she's supposed to follow to post something, and she didn't get approval, and even their thing specifically says they told her, no, don't post this, and then she did it anyways. Like, that's not a good sign. And her telling people publicly, hey, my boss took down my video, everybody just re-upload it. That's a really bad sign. And that's kind of why they yanked her access for that, because so a lot of that made sense. And then things came out about Doki and the kind of things that she went through, and I'm like, I flipped. Because that first initial thing, I'm like, oh no, I'm on Niji's side, because their thing makes sense. And then I flipped as Doki was talking about her experiences. And let me just read the follow-up, because the first thing I just have here is like, Selene is gone. My second point is just, holy shit, the handling of that, all in capitals. You're right, it's not all black and white, and I agree with that. Right. But any goodwill Niji had, holy shit, they threw it down a flight of stairs, took the elevator back up, and threw it down the flight of stairs again. The fucking, the stock announcement where we think the loss of Selene will have a negligible impact. Like, don't say that! Don't say that! Oh my god, don't say that! The video you talked about with Vox and Ike and Alira, I think was the other one.
Oh yeah, it was Alira. I couldn't remember.
Don't say that! Don't say those things that you said!
Yeah.
And also they had it happen at the same time as one of Doki streams, and I don't know how much people were suggesting that it was timed that way.
I don't think
I don't know. It's an evening, stream appointment. It might have been, it might not have been. I don't really care. But like the things they were saying in there, don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Do not say that.
They shot themselves in the foot.
They kept, every time the fire was starting to go out, they just poured more gas on it.
Yeah,
like,
and then when they did that fucking CEO video thing,
that one actually was a little bit better, but that was still like, that was like a 1-2 punch of like, the night before was the Vox one, and then the next day was the CEO one. It's just like, guys, sit down and stop talking to people. You're not helping. You're just hurting your company more. You fools.
Yeah.
As a company that should be representing its employees to the world,
I agree, Wire.
Holy shit, they fucked up. Because all of the shit that happened, like, again, reading through the initial thing, I was, talking to you, I'm like, I was a little harsh on Selene for her behavior, and if saying, like, if that's correct, yeah, she was wrong. And honestly, like, if somebody in my jobs had done that, they probably would have been fired.
Yeah.
But that one fucking line Niji put in there about she accused us of bullying is the one thing that made everybody go, oh, it's time to witch hunt every single Niji Sanji talent. Why did you say that, Anycolor? Why did you do that? That did not protect your employees. That put all of them in the fucking crossfire.
Yep.
And then it kept getting worse.
But unfortunately,
it kept getting worse. Because it was all that stuff. It was 2 weeks of everybody saying, calm down, but also here's this other thing I have to say.
Yeah.
And it was such a mess. It was such a fucking clusterfuck for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then my comment here is just like, we went feral for a couple weeks because we really did. And it got so bad that at the end of the second week, when like Doki had told everybody like twice or maybe even 3 times, I'm done with this, let it go. And people were still like, oh, but we found this stuff on 4chan. I'm like, I'm just blocking you. I'm not putting up with this. Everybody's told you to stop. Niji told you to stop. CEO said to stop. The Niji talent said to stop. Doki said stop twice. Stop! Fucking stop! And I was very done with it at that point. And then the contract got leaked. And it just kept it came back again, man. Did you see that? The Niji contract?
I did, yes.
Yeah. It's just again the down the flight of stairs. I actually heard, what was it? The rumor I heard was the former talent behind Zion was the one that leaked it because it was a blank. It's not the one that everybody signed, and they might have negotiated a different version. But the rumor was that it was Zion. Everybody's like, "Oh, Zion got them. She twisted the knife at the last fucking second because they threw her under the bus too." Just, oh my god, oh my fucking god, like that company. What's funny to me, not funny to me, but what's ironic to me is people were saying things like, that contract was as bad as it was, and people still signed it. People still signed it. And the thing is, for many of these streamers, like we were talking about, like segueing from that last thing about what does it take to become a big streamer? I've been at this for 2 weeks, or for 2 months, and I'm not at this place yet. People will still sign that contract with these companies because 100% it is a way to hit those numbers and to have the visibility that you would not have through any other means. And that's why they do it. And as much as people can say no to these contracts, and there probably are people who have, though we don't see it because they never debut. Like, who's going to get that close to getting their dream? Who's going to get through all of those rounds of auditions and interviews and get to the last second, look at this contract that's manipulative and not great, but they're just like, your options are sign the contract and have your dream, sign this terrible contract and have your dream, or walk away from it all and go back to the grind. And it's really hard to hold that against anybody, because it's I can't tell somebody that they should walk away from their dream because of it, but boy, oh boy, that's just, that is not a balanced equation. That is not a situation where the power balance is the power dynamic is in any way balanced. It's really one-sided.
Yeah. So I'm gonna interject here. If, let's say, I was offered a big corpo contract with, say, HoloLive, yes, I would absolutely take that. I would. I would establish first that my current role, or job, I should say, is my foremost priority, and they need to be flexible around that, because I wouldn't quit my day job, for a VTuber corporation, not at all. And I would then say, look, in lieu of that, is there any chance I could keep what I have at the moment going? Like, I don't want to have to make a new channel. I want to keep the community that we've got. That's a lot of things I would say. Anyway, all hypotheticals. It's probably never going to happen.
There's a reason why they give people new avatars and new channels and things, because it does give them a degree of control, and business loves its control.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have.
It makes things a lot cleaner when things like Selene happens, where they can just shut down everything and the IP goes away, rather than like dealing with like, well, who owns this piece of art? Who owns all the merch stuff? Who owns this? Like, it's, from a business sense, it's clean. From a community and fan standpoint, it's rough.
So dependent for you. Some companies can even force you to move with no help from when I saw that in the contract, that's when I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with them? Like, you have to move without any support. Like, that's crazy. Yes, it
was such a mess, and looking at that, before all of this, Niji is a company that, despite the bad rumors about it, people would have possibly considered working for them. Following the other side of this, there's no way in hell I would work for them. If for the simple reason of their handling of this, something that I might not have had anything to do with. Like, because that's the thing. Even if you're one of the people at the company who did not bully Selene, you still got put in the crosshairs for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
As everybody did this witch hunt. And the company so mangled their PR to address this and deal with it, I would not trust anything. I would not trust them with my safety online.
Yeah. Rightly so. So many came under fire. And there still are, we should say. They still are now. So, welcome in, Demonic Panda. Welcome in, Panda.
Talking about VTuber contracts here, about wanting a clause in the contract to keep your content once you leave. So, like places like VShojo. Actually, interesting with VShojo, most of the people that joined that actually brought their IP into the company. So that's why they could take it out. Like that's why, like when Nyanners and Bebe and Silvervale left, they could take their IPs because they came in with those. So they actually still retained ownership. I think only Nazuna was the one that that had her IP created by the company or while she was at the company. Oh, okay. And in that instance, she still might have had it developed outside and brought it in.
Maybe I'll look into VShojo.
They have a male character now. They have Kuro. But yeah, so yeah, it's just that's really all I got to. I kind of petered out at one point, and ran out of gas of like thinking of anything. The fucking Niji news from the last like 6 weeks has been brutal.
Not before you. Well, Panda, you gotta contact VShojo now then before I do. Teehee.
Yeah, no, it's part of me. Part of what I enjoy for streaming and what I look for is like having that side job where I'm in control of it myself, and that's both for better or for worse. If I would join a corpo, I would want them to take some ownership of that, and nothing about the Niji situation sounds like it would do any of that.
Yeah, I agree.
VShojo might.
There's a lot more freedom with VShojo, but I think that then comes with a degree of, you know, your actions are your own, and the responsibility might then be like, oh, well, VShojo could say, well, you chose to do that, and even though we consulted you to not do it, you still did it. Like, that's on you. That kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's kind of any place. People leaving VShojo to pursue indie careers. Well, I mean, the only people that left, there were 4 members that left. So there was Nazuna, who left basically. I think she even said that, like, or somebody said that, like, she never felt comfortable because she wasn't really fluent in English and everybody else was. So she felt like a bit of an outsider. And then there was some drama around Nazuna afterwards. But we're not going to get into that because that's a whole thing there. But you said Nanners left too. I'm getting to that. I'm doing this in reverse. But yeah, Silvervale, Vebe, and Nanners left, and they all basically said like they didn't renew their contracts. That was the specific wording they all used. That could mean a lot of things. It could mean the price sharing or expectations or things like that. They had some contract with the company, and they basically just did not want the new contract, so they stopped working for them. Yeah, and that's really all that boiled down to. It doesn't mean a good or a bad thing. It just is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, Nyanners came in with her IP, and when she left, she took it with her because it was always hers. And she left basically because she either didn't want the contract with them anymore, or found a better one elsewhere, or something. We don't really know the details, and they're not really discussing it, which is understandable. Like there's probably a lot of like, what's the word?
Bureaucracy.
No. Like a thing that you sign that says you can't talk about it.
DMCA? Do not disclose.
No. That's Digital Millennial Copyright Act. Yeah. I know what you're saying, though. We're on the same page. We can't think of the thing. What's it fucking called? It's going to bother me.
Non-disclosure agreement, NDA.
NDA. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of NDAs around, like what they can and can't talk about the contracts, which makes sense from the company standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we can speculate left and right about why they left, but the official reason was just like we didn't want to renew our contract, so we didn't.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I want to just interject and say, DS, we've got not a lot of time left. I will have to go very soon, so we've got maybe 10 minutes left.
Okay. That was, like I said, the last thing I had in like VTubing, because I really didn't have anything else set up and planned. So the last thing I had was like, you know, what are we doing going forward? What do we have to look forward to? Because you said you had some announcements tomorrow during the King's Court. Was that the word you used?
Court Weekly. Although maybe
yeah.
King's Court will be the thing I'll name it when I debut in September. Ooh. Writing that idea down. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. It's very catchy.
King's Court. So future upcoming things. What have you got? What have you got coming up? What are you playing next weekend?
Having just recently finished Final Fantasy VII Remake, I have to find a new game. I'm thinking about doing the SNES Zelda, because I have like a subscription to Nintendo Online, which also unlocks their emulator on the Switch. And only thing I've played on it so far has been Earthbound, and I probably should get my money's worth out of it. But it's been a while since I played A Link to the Past, and I really like it. It's one of my favorite Zeldas. So I might be doing that, and I don't know what the extra slot, if I add more streams in, will be, because I said something earlier at the beginning of the stream that people might have missed, that once I'm done with my gym trainer in like a week or two, I will probably be adding another streaming day to my weekly schedule, probably a weeknight.
Which is exciting.
And I don't know what that's going to be yet. I have no idea. I was debating putting Sekiro there, and then I started playing it anyway, so... So I might theme certain nights around certain things. It's probably going to be Tuesday, but I have no idea what it's going to be yet. Because entertainingly enough, this is the clusterfuck that's my life right now. Real life job has been working on a renovation project for the last few months at work, and it finally came to a head. And I spent 4 days this week either setting up or prepping the setup for like 50 desks at our new office. I spent the last 2 days
like plugging
in all of these computers, and then getting on my hands and knees, going under the desks to do all the power work underneath, because they have like a power strip bolted to the underside of the desk, and I have to get stuff plugged in. And they did such a bad job with this project, Dan. I'm gonna stop now before I start pitching more. But like, that's been leading up for the past few weeks. The soft opening for it is Monday, and I'm gonna have to deal with that for the next 2 weeks. And then I have jury duty, of all things, jury duty, starting April 1st. And then later in April, we have the hard opening for the thing, which is when all of the executives are coming there, and I have to be all pretty and nice for them, and like smile and not look like a crazy person who's happy to be there and happy to have them there too, and definitely isn't imagining the sounds of bones breaking for any reason.
Stop it, you psychopath!
And once that's all done, I'm taking a few days off from work.
Rightly so. Rightly so.
So it's been stressful. So I don't know when I'm going to be adding that extra day to my streaming schedule, but sometime
whenever
in the next
you're
few
ready,
weeks.
yeah.
But definitely, I do have a long-awaited stream coming up, one that I have been looking forward to greatly. See, a streamer buddy of mine on YouTube by the name of Rad Maho and I met, and on our first meeting, we talked about how we both loved an old PlayStation game called Xenogears, and I was even playing it, end of 2022 into 2023, and he and I had talked about having a collab, sitting down and chatting about it, and we never actually did it. But this is a game with a lot of religious themes and imagery and all that good stuff there.
1998
so finally,
role-playing video game.
Yeah, Xenogears was fire. Subtle knows what I'm talking about. So Rad and I, hopefully, if schedules work out, are finally going to have our Xenogears Just Chatting collab at the end of the month, on the 31st of March, on Easter. To be clear, I'm going to tell everybody right now, there's a scene in that game where somebody looks at one of the mech robots and goes, "That's the host for the spirit of the Slayer of God." And 100% that's going to be the advertising thumbnail. Happy Easter, everybody. Let's time to talk about the host for the spirit of the Slayer of God. Because, yes, it's silly. I'm sorry, I'm silly about this. I love this game,
That's
and I'm looking forward to chatting about it with my friend.
It's good to be passionate. Yes.
It's a ridiculous thing. Like, it's a fantastic game though. Like, it's a fantastic, if flawed, masterpiece from the PlayStation generation, and it is one of my favorite games ever. For some people, it is their favorite game ever, and it is a justifiable title. It is kung fu and mechs and like
sounds crazy.
Like Freudian subconsciousness conversations, and like the last boss in the game is called Deus. It's a god machine. It's amazing. It's such a good game. And I'm happy I finally get a chance to talk about it with my friend, because he and I have joked about it several times about like, we should do this on like a Christian holiday. We missed Easter last year. We missed Christmas. We're like, we have Easter this year. Let's do it. Have you ever played Macross VFX2? No, I have not.
I've never even heard of that game.
I know about Macross. That's about all the further I am in there.
You want to find someone to play it to relive how good the game was, but no one you know has ever played it? What's it about? That's the thing.
Macross is like a space opera where like fighter planes turn into robots, but instead of being like Transformers that were like, it's humanoid, basically the legs just pop out and arms pop out the side, and it's like a plane with arms and legs and guns. It's wild. It's great. Macross is fantastic. It also has a big like pop idol like thing going on. It's like Gundam, and like it's a war mech story, but it's also like, but also love, and let's have an idol singing, and it's weird. It's a lot. It's a very much like pizza and ice cream kind of story. But like those are my big things, like adding an extra streaming day to my schedule, adding some Zelda in with A Link to the Past, and finally getting my Xenogears collab. Huzzah!
Woo! So that's the next few months really for you, kind of sorted. A
little bit, yeah.
How has my day been? That's to both of us technically, because we're both Dan. My day has been really productive actually. I have finally kicked myself up the arse, sorted out my bedroom, did some cleaning, did some chores that I've been holding off on for maybe a few months, weeks. I mean,
I'm not throwing stones.
And yeah, I've been trying to like solidify the schedule for next week, which will. I don't know if I'm posting it today. Actually, I should be. Yeah, that's a good question. But that's how my day's been. Double trouble. What about your day?
Things going forward. Yes.
Oh no, your day. Dan, your day.
Oh, my day. My day's been pretty good. I got some chores done this morning. I was running laundry that, I said, beeped here. I did my sheets and towels yesterday, and I looked today before starting stream, and I'm like, what do you mean I have 3 more loads of laundry to do? Oh God.
That's one of the things I look forward to with yeah, this is Deus. Yeah, Deus, yeah. Let me do.
God, an ad break just started.
Well, that's fine. I'm gonna shout you out during your ad break, and you can whine. Deus, yeah.
Hello, Dan. I had to respond. Which Dan?
Hello, fun. Dan.
I love these things.
So, what was I gonna say? Coming up in the next few months for me. More Persona 5 still. But we do have
I finally have Persona 5. It's one of the things I'm thinking about streaming. So.
Yes, Dan. Yeah. They turned. Oh, what did you say? They turned on Exodia.
Turn one. It's basically saying like they started a duel and then drew Exodia the Forbidden One, which is a Yu-Gi-Oh reference. But it's basically a set of 5 cards that if you have them all in your hand, you just win automatically. So it's a big meme from Yu-Gi-Oh, the animated series about a card game.
Yes, I
he basically said he got
it was part of my.
He gets hit with Exodia Obliterate ad. And I'm just like, oh no, they turned one Exodia. They hit you with it right away.
So next few months we've got Oh my god, how is April like 2 weeks away? So April
You said you had some exciting announcements tomorrow. So
yes.
definitely check out that stream for Dan. Dan the Draconian.
I guess I'll put my schedule on screen for the moment. It is gonna cover our faces, but it's fine. It'll be for just a moment. So tomorrow we have Court Weekly. So Court Weekly is, you know, the 1 hour where I get to talk to everyone and chillax and everything. Then we got more Persona 5 Tuesday. I'm gonna move my schedule. Like, I've decided my schedule layouts. I need to change them. So instead of me just putting like white text and everything, I'm gonna start using game logos so that people could start recognizing the games easier.
Yeah, I like doing that too. That's something I do on mine. So
Tuesday we've got Persona 5 Royale again, so that'll be part 10 I think now, which is insane. A lot of Lethal Company coming up, but the big thing in April is going to be like the birthday stream for Friday the 19th of April. Nice. I will talk more about it tomorrow, but I can say today that it is a joint birthday celebration with my dear friend Rainbow Roost. He and I have our birthdays directly next to each other, so he had the idea of offering if we wanted to do a joint birthday celebration, and I said yes, absolutely, because he's a great guy.
Oh, nice. That's wonderful.
Yeah. But other than that, I think May and June, the live 2D model will start being worked on, and then, you know, I would then start I think I might do another tea party stream. So last summer I did a tea party stream, and I invited a load of friends for a very long stream, and I would love to do another tea party stream. I just need to sort out when I'm going to do it, because I kind of want to do it on the anniversary of the last one and try and keep it a rolling thing for every year. Put in some new games for everyone to do. The thing is though, the tea party guest list is going to grow so much between last year and this year.
Because you mentioning it, I'm just like,
where's
my invite? Where's my invite?
Yeah, of course you'll be there. Like, I've made so many more closer friends, and I just the amount of people I'll invite is probably going to double. And I'm like, how is my anxiety and my own like autism and ADHD going to keep up with so many people? So I'm going to make sure to refine the chat room system that I used last year. And what I did was like, I had a chat room where the others could wait and talk and stream and everything. And then I would grab a couple of people to come and talk to me in like a separate call on my streams specifically. Which I learned from Ren, who did the Riz interview, interview thing, or Riz speed dating, which I did apply for. I haven't heard anything yet.
I did as well. I applied for it again. I'm like, yeah, round 2. Hopefully I did a good enough job. They'll bring me back.
And I thought, oh, I need to redeem myself. Let me apply. The tea drawing thing again? Possibly. It could change from tea, though. I think having everyone draw their own take of something is definitely an activity. It's coming back for sure. But maybe I will keep it as tea, or tea related. We will see. Dan having a tea party? Yes, but that will be in the summertime. But other than that,
yeah, I mean, birthday stream and planning a major collab later in the year are both big exciting things. And whatever you're announcing tomorrow, because you said things.
Yes, yes, there'll be some more things.
Oh, and you said you got that sponsored stream too. So did you have them? Is that coming up?
I had the sponsored stream, but
okay.
You know what? Fuck it, I'll announce it today.
Save it for tomorrow. Save it for your thing. Don't ruin it. Make them show up and support Dan tomorrow. Otherwise, you'll never know the truth.
Do you want special item 1, 2, or 3? I've randomized them in my head.
2.
Okay. So 2 is that I have been working very closely about releasing a song, and it is now in the stage where I'm just recording lines, or I just need to record lines. and harmonies and send it over to the music producer, and that might be out in time for my birthday, but if it's not, it will be held for debut.
Nice.
So you'll either get a song from me in April or September. We'll see.
Very cool.
Thank you.
That's great news for you.
Yeah.
If you want to know the other two, show up tomorrow. Support him. Support Dan.
And if you want weekend comfy streams, show up Saturday and Sunday and check out DS's YouTube as well. And Discord and socials, everything.
Socials, Discord, internet.
Big internets. Okay. Well, that's everything on my time, really, I'm afraid.
Yep.
I have
Thank
a
you for
YouTube
sharing
as
so much
well.
time with me today.
Yeah. I have a YouTube as well. Why? Yeah. It's just generally VODs and clips, isn't it? Subtle. I can just type here. Hello. It should be linked. So
I mean, I just did a shout out there, so.
Thank you.
I forgot to actually put you in the title. Man, I did not do my title right.
You are good.
I everything else right.
I rushed you. I rushed you. Hey, thank you for the follow, Subtle. And that does mean our follower goal has hit the numbers. I think Raptor might have.
We hit the numbers again. I think we had somebody follow and then unwisely leave.
Unwisely leave? No, I'm not. I do not.
Shame.
I do not have a secret service that hunts down everyone. I'll be your goal. Yes, thank you, Subtle. Thank you. But that does now mean we're on the road to 400, which is crazy.
Nice.
Oh my gosh. It makes me want to just go to bed. I'm like, I can't do this.
To be honest, I need to have some tea too and wake myself up a bit more as well. But
yeah, I'm just like, maybe it's bedtime. I am tired.
Maybe. But yeah, thank you for hanging out and chatting with me again. We'll have to do this again sometime. It's probably going to be May because you've got a busy month next month. I've got a busy month next month. So we'll see when this happens again.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be invites sent out to you, of course, for like, maybe, I mean, it's a Friday and you're not really available Fridays. That's
in
when
the evening my time, but that's honestly though, it might be one of the days that I ask off for vacation because like I've been working the last 6 months without any days off, so like
no way.
It's time. I'm a contract worker, so I don't get any days off. So
oh, you don't have like holiday or annual leave or anything like that?
Look, we have holidays, but like I actually don't get paid for those. But yeah, I don't get annual leave as a contract employee.
Oh.
Though I did get some information that if everything keeps going as is, knock on wood, I will probably get hired on full time later this year. So that's good, and then I'll get like full benefits.
Fingers crossed for you. I hope that goes well. Yeah. Okay. Well, we both got big things coming up, which is exciting, and I've enjoyed this once again. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we head out?
No, I think the only thing we should think of is who to raid, and I'm honestly checking my end. There isn't anybody online for me, and I'm being serious about this, not throwing you under the bus. There isn't actually anybody online for me that I'd be like, oh, we should raid this person. I don't have anybody right now that I would want.
Let me see if I've got anyone.
This stands up to me. So yeah, if you have a raid recommendation.
I'm going through my pages. Give me a sec. There are a couple actually that I would raid into. We've either got Out and Fear or Bun Bun.
What are they playing?
What is Bun Bun playing? I can't even tell. Let me open the stream itself. Out and Fear is playing Hong Kong Star Rail. He is a huge lover of that game. It's a good game. He's gacha obsessed. And Bun Bun is playing Everloop. What is Everloop?
I don't know Everloop.
Should we go find out what it's about?
Yeah, let's go raid Bun Bun.
Oh.
Is it just Bun Bun? Is it?
She's got a new bloody model. Okay, yeah, let's go raid out to Bun Bun. I'll send the name to you now.
Okay.
It is our chat. That's their name. Yeah, let me
There's definitely another channel I was looking at.
Let me go do the raid out to the Bun Bun. Everyone, I will see you tomorrow for Court Weekly. You can catch Deus Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah. You're playing more Chained Echoes and starting a new game next week. Probably Zelda.
Double Dan raid. And then maybe like do that a couple of times, I guess. Let me just check she's not going on break, because I think she might be.
She's currently, if I'm on the right channel, she's currently doing words on stream, and she's been going for about 2 hours.
I don't know if that means she's going to break. Give me just a second, I'll quickly listen in. I freaking called it. She just went on break. Here's your raid message, everybody.
So what you're saying is we can raid her either right now or right when she leaves, and she's defenseless.
No, psychopath! Yes. You psychopath! Yes.
Take our love, Bun Bun. There's nothing you can do to stop us now.
I kind of want to do it right now. But she's not there. She's not there. That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm gonna wait for her to come back, and then we'll raid in. As why I said, do stay for the raid. You get free channel points every time you do. We got some new channel point redeems. Deus, you're gonna be checking yours out and updating yours, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna clean mine up a little bit because I definitely want some kind of audio cue for that hydrate redeem because I'm missing it too often.
Oh, so. Yeah. I can't even remember what my hydrate is. I should know what it is.
What's funny is I added that hydrate redeem because also that streamer that was doing a lot of Soulsborne games for me also has like her chat bullying her by sending her like 10 hydrate redeems in a row. So when I made mine, I 100% put a cooldown on them because I'm like, she's gonna come back for revenge, and she's never done it.
I do it. Okay, I am a gremlin very much in the fact that I do that to other people as well, and I'm just like hydrate, and then I'm like, maybe you should put cooldown on because I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah.
But not only does she have no cooldown, she's got it tied to a Twitch interactive throwing system, so. We're literally eating bottles of water in her face, and you can tell she's sometimes taking a drink, and then she gets hit with another bottle, and she's like, she just makes a noise. It's so good. Oh man,
that's so nice of you to say. Thank you.
Save it up for VP. Yeah.
Do you know what I didn't know though? Is that you only have a limited amount of VIP like people you can have.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and when that's full, you can't have any more VIPs unless you remove another one.
I mean, it makes a bit of sense. What's the cap at? Is it like 10, 20?
I think it's max VIPs Twitch. It was.
Yeah, Kobold. I know. Reminding us to hydrate and eat is closer to Tamagotchi than streamer, but some of your Oshis need a little bit of work.
So you can unlock additional VIP badges to a maximum of, I think it's like 100, by getting unique chatters into a stream. So it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 100, 200 unique chatters. Then unlocks 20, 30, 40, 50, 80, and 100 additional badges. Yeah.
Nice.
My HD bot would absolutely benefit from reminders. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Quite often I forget, but then sometimes I sip when I'm not talking because I have body things going on.
Yeah, I absolutely do that. I actually had to mute at one point during this because I took a sip and immediately started coughing. And I smacked that mute button real fast. I'm just like, So if you're watching my stream, you probably saw me flailing around and not making any noise, and that's me trying not to hack up a lung.
I love that. I love that. When will the bun be back?
She just left. I don't know if she's cooking anything or she's going out to get it. It's gonna be like 10, 15 minutes, or it might be here a while.
She's normally really quick. Maybe we should just raid in. And just...
Join me on the dark side, Dan. It's glorious.
Alright,
cookies.
We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna raid in then, and then it's up to her. If she's not there, she's not there. That's, you know, we
are sending nice people over to support, and I'm probably gonna hang out there anyways because I have to see because it's a cute bun.
Yeah, I will absolutely lurk. I absolutely lurk on everyone I raid into. Like I just. Even if I mute the tab, that kind of thing, I do it. Okay, we're going to go right out to Bun Bun. Thank you everyone for watching us. I will see you all next time for Court Weekly.
Yes, have a wonderful rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever it is in your part of the world. So, yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. I'm going to hit the raid button on my end.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.